I've analyzed some data showing, significant incremental costs for bread making ingredients and the impact on production there. That's definitely felt. Today, I want to dive in these pressing issues and understand how they've shaped operations for bread makers across the nation. That's for the first half of 2025. To help us unpack this, we have engineer Emmanuel Noah as the president, Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria. Joining me right here in the studio. It's great to have you, sir.
Thank you, Ladi, for having me.
Yeah, it's been a while. Definitely, but definitely we must have our daily bread.
True.
At this point, and I remember, past conversations we've had. You did paint the picture of, the difficulties there for bread producers, and definitely we saw that in 2024, 2023. I know it's been tough, from what we've heard so far. But looking at the first half of 2025. You did share some data, with me on, some of the price changes we've seen. And we see flavor, that's a major input there. That's moved from about 12,000 naira to 15,000. So we see a difference of about 3,000 naira. The softener, that's moved from 60,000 to 130,000 naira. Sugar, 82,000. And I guess that's a dip there to 80,000.
Yeah, there was a dip there.
Yeah, then sugar alternates, that's on the rise, at this point, and a couple of other inputs there. So break it down for me. What's your experience for the first half of 2025?
Good afternoon, viewers, and thank you, Ladi, for having me here once more. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm still managing to eat bread.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. The half year has been topsy-turvy. As you could see from the data we presented to you from the Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria. We had some dip in the prices. Some of them were stable. Some of the prices dropped. And I wouldn't want to experience 2024 in my life in business any longer. 2024, was mad. It was crazy. You couldn't forecast, you couldn't plan, you couldn't do anything. But thankfully, from Q3 last year, there's been some stability in the pricing, especially of our major ingredients, which is flour. Stability. We can make forecasts, we can plan, okay? It's not El Dorado, because the price used to be like 30,000 naira, 28,000.
That's for flour.
Yeah, it rose up to 80 before it dropped and all of that. And thankfully, the president intervened. He heard our cries, and there was this moratorium placed on wheat imports. The freeze or the froze VAT and wheat imports for grains. And then they brought in grains into Nigeria. It has helped us, and that helped to reduce the price of flour. Not significantly, just by 5,000 naira. But as you could see, other ingredients there held firm on their prices because of the FX rate. Yeah, though maybe oscillating between maybe 1,600
yes.
to 1,630. But there's that stability there, so the importers can be able to plan. Except for the ports where they are telling us that these guys are killing them, the customs and their rates and all of that. And we hope that the tax reform bill can be able to take care of that with the NRS and all of it, where the FIRS or the NRS will be the ones that will be doing all of these things that the custom and all the multi-agency and MDAs are doing. So outside of that...
So that means you're optimistic about the tax reforms?
Well, we don't know the nitty-gritty of it because we are getting tax consultants to help us dissect it and look at it. You might look at it at the surface level, it may be cozy, but you don't know the nitty-gritty. What are the hidden clauses there? We don't know. So until we interrogate it in our next meeting in PBAN, that's what we want to interrogate. I want to get in an expert to come and help us drill it down for our members so that we know the nitty-gritties. Yes, CIT has reduced from 30% to 25% and all of that. Where is it hidden in the bill and all of that? But we hope it's not going to be deja vu. It's going to be a good one for us. Then coming back now, look at that data set I sent to you.
Right.
Now, all those elements that came down, energy costs wiped them out. Energy costs increased from last year till now by almost about 1,000% for some of my members. Can you imagine somebody that was paying 1 million a month before, okay, maybe say for a kilowatt hour of light and all of that, which I think 209.5. Before it used to be 60, and then they banded all of us into band A. Somebody's energy cost rose from 1 million to 15 million in a month. So it has wiped out every gain.
1 to 15 million for electricity.
1 million to 15 million. If I tell you mine, you even shout. You understand?
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. And the bad thing about this energy cost is for electricity is that they are not even giving you the lights. You don't get electricity to work with. You're still running with diesel. You're still running with LPG. You're still running with fuel in some instances. Okay? Now, diesel price dropped by about 150 there.
Yes.
Look at it, by 150.
Yeah,
Fuel
150.
dropped to oscillating between maybe 850 to 930. Let's just take it at that average rate. But the cost of energy, it's killing us. Now, for the industry, for the bread makers, you want to go and invest in solar. Do you have the initial capital, the capital layout to be able to get this going? For instance, in my association now, in PBAN, we are discussing with a company that is renowned in the world to come and help us see how we can bring down the cost of kilowatts per hour light for my members. We are on top of that now. We've done some of the analysis. So let us see whether we can lock down this energy cost in the next 10 to 15 years for our members.
I've been hearing a lot of initiatives around, that solar
that's what we are trying
industry, some financial services institutions, they're coming up with, plans, so you can pay, you don't have to pay the bulk sum, at this point. And we're also hearing, some initiatives coming from, the government side of things, at this point. But do you think it's that silver bullet that can help with the energy costs?
Well, until we interrogate it and drill down, you wouldn't know. Like I said, we've just finished our own analysis. You understand me? We are trying to see how we can aggregate the powers for our members, see how we can drop it by 50% for them. If we have a 50% drop, imagine a man that is doing 50 million. Maybe he's doing 6 million now a month. You can see that excess goes he plows it back into his business, and then he can be able to be profitable in his business. So energy cost is a killer. Energy cost is a virus that is almost killing us. We just came out from one that inputs were running riots, and now energy costs. So,
because I remember our last conversation. Yeah, it was about inputs.
It was
inputs, and I don't know if energy cost was a problem that time too.
It was a cost, but it's not as bad as it is now. No. Because even if you ask the discos, how do you calculate this thing? They will tell you it's 209.5 per kilowatt hour of light, blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, what they are metering and what they are charging you is different. For instance, in my own bakery, we wrote to NEROC, FCCPC, we wrote Eco Disco. We've been on it with them for the past 3 months. They don't even answer you. You write to their customer care, they have dedicated email addresses. You write there. Ditto for all my members. That's what we've been doing, bombarding them. But there's so much arrogance there's so much arrogance with them. They don't even come back to you. How do you arrive at the cost of energy per kilowatts? Nobody tells you anything. You understand? We are just coming from one challenge and we are getting into a deeper one. So it's been...
Because I can imagine, for a household, you can, afford to, turn off lights, turn off some, equipment in the house, to manage power. But for a business,
no way.
You don't have that luxury.
You don't have that luxury. You don't have it. See, the mixers must keep running. Okay? The extractors must keep running so that you can be able to cool the bread, because what we sell is cold bread. All right? So the whole apparatus around that, your infrastructure, they are all running, and they are running on energy. And even the light, they don't even give us the light. They don't give us the light. You're still running on your genset. Maintenance cost of diesel. Thankfully, it's been stable for a while, like I said, you understand, it's not been that 7 like it was before. I mean, we have some respite there. But energy cost is eating up everything.
So all the respite you're getting from, diesel, from input costs, going down or being stable.
Yeah, being stable. Not
being wiped out.
Wiped out
from
completely,
electricity
not
costs.
Even significantly, wiped out completely, and you are heading down south again in the business.
So how are you managing that, for your sale of bread out there?
Well, what you need to do is you just need to upscale and try and see how you can increase your volumes without necessarily impacting your quality. Because for us, our quality is what we are known for in our association. Our quality is what drives us. You understand? You must produce with wholesome material because we have our peer review mechanism in-house and we have our own way of checkmating our members. No matter the circumstances, you cannot do it because if you do it, we have our own monitors that go around our bakeries to see what they are doing. We are the ones that will take you to our regulators. So do it. Find intelligent ways. Look at your in-house, look at your operational cost and see where and where you can reduce, okay? And what, at the end of the day, what does it boil down to? You now begin to right size. First of all, staff cost, you have to look at your staff costs because in training, that staff cost is their meal per day, their breakfast in the morning, and all of that. And you begin to cut this whole thing. And then what does it do? It leads to staff mortality. They will not be there for you again because they will run. Some of them go to say they don't even want to work again. That's the fact now. Most of these young men and girls, they don't want to work again. They want to go into fast lane. They want to drive big cars without working. Just like
or maybe become social
enterprise.
media influencers.
Not even influencers really, but everybody, most of them just want to be on the fast lane.
But I guess it's almost like, you know, the way the birds, you know, the way the birds operate. You know, when they know that there's drought in one area, they try to drift to another area. So I guess they're not happy with some of the remuneration they're getting because there's a cost of living crisis,
true.
you know, at this point.
True.
So I guess, you know, most of the salaries can't even take them home.
I agree with you.
You know, at this point.
I do really agree with you because what are you paying? Okay, poultry son, what are you paying them? Okay, you are doing minimum wage of say, let us even say you are doing 70,000 naira. Bro, what can 70,000 naira do for you in a month? You know, I pity Nigerian workers, really. Sometimes I ask myself, how do these people survive? Transportation cost is, don't just even go there. If you are going from Ojota now, coming to Surulere, and it rains now, maybe they will say 5,000 or even 10,000 per drop. You understand? So, and the government does not have the right transport infrastructure to push
some of those safety nets that could help out.
You understand? So it's the Nigerian worker is in a bad place because inflation that has eaten virtually everything that they pay him or her. Of course, it used to be 40-something. They rebased it. Even at that, it's still hovering above 20-something percentile. Food inflation is above 21% for food inflation. Despite the rebasing, okay, inflation is about 22.97 if May, because MBS has not gotten us
we don't have the
data for June.
Report, yes.
It will soon be out by MBS. So you know, and you look at the MPI and everything. So everything is weighed against the workers. So all of them are looking.
And talking about being weighed against the workers, how would you gauge, you know, consumer sentiment, you know, for the first half? Do you think the Nigerian consumer has been resilient, you know, when it comes to, you know, buying bread, or have they moved to other substitutes?
There are no substitute that is better than bread, but that is cheaper. Bread is a grab and go.
Or maybe there's no substitute, you just stop it, you just cut consumption.
Certainly, they do that. But in doing that, as a smart businessman, you have to look at where to get the money from their pockets from. You understand? Maybe, for instance, in my bakery, you have maybe 15 SKUs or 12 SKUs, okay, so like variants. Okay, then you look at it. This 2,000 bread, is it can they afford it now? Can they afford 1,009? Then you tend to say, okay, can we begin to reduce it? Maybe do a 500 naira, 600 pack size so that they can be able to afford it. All right? At the end of the day, for you, what is very important is your flour count and your throughput. Okay? So you must study your terrain, you must study your business. And that is what we represent in PBAN, because we run businesses there. You have your business analyst and you have your business development people. They are always on their system trying to see, they will move with the trend of the market so that at the end of the day, you are not out of business. You can be able to run your overhead and be able to pay salaries and remain afloat without being profitable, really.
Right. So I guess at this point we've seen, you know, other companies try to cut or reduce the size of some of their products and have some sachet prices. You know, at this point, are we seeing that happening there?
No, it's not. It's
maybe you're selling a slice now. Is it going to get?
Let me tell you, the danger in reduction in your pack size. The danger in it is your mold. Your pan size is fixed. The cost of it you can't even do now. Okay? So once you have a dough that will fit that particular bread pan, all right? If you touch it, you compromise the integrity of that bread. You have what we call B&D, bad and damaged bread. Okay, and for instance, you have a bag of maybe 50 loaves, all right, and you go and tamper with your weight. Maybe you are doing 800 grams, and you tamper it about 750 with the hope of trying to gain that 50. You will lose it. Eventually, you will just get maybe 20-30% of the 100% you are supposed to get, your yield. So you put it in the oven, it cannot spring. Sometimes even the yeast activities, the bacteria in the yeast that is working on the dough will not even allow it to rise very well. There's what we call oven spring. The bread must proof, touch the lid of the pan. As soon as you put it into the oven, okay, as the furnace is blasting, it just go poof. The bread springs into the
Right.
and takes the shape of the pan.
Yeah.
And the pan, you understand. And then from there it begins to cook.
Yeah.
Until you get a good cook. But if you go and cut corners, as it proofs, it will just sink down immediately. So that's your loss. And you're going to sell it at maybe 30% the rate of, maybe something you're supposed to sell 1,000 naira. At the end, because it is bad and damaged, you have to sell it 300 naira. So who loses at the end of the day? So you have to be intelligent in bread making. Bread making is an art, it's a craft, it's a science.
Right.
If you don't understand the nitty-gritties and intricacies of it, you just do it because you want to do. Blow. You'll be out of business in no time.
Right.
So
I think I've tried my hand at home baking before. It's
like
definitely not easy.
You want to delve into our terrain.
No, just for home consumption, maybe make a little cake or something. But it's definitely not easy. And at this point, from what you've said so far, you did say all the gains from the inputs cost being stable or even lower. Energy cost is wiping all of that out. What are you saying now to the government at this point? How do you think the second half is going to continue looking? Since we're seeing the problems we saw in the first half continuing to
the problem has been taken care. The problem has been taken care of in one hand, and on the other hand, it's been wiped out completely.
Reduce energy costs and everything will be good.
Not only reducing energy costs, okay, you reduce energy costs is significant, and like the World Bank, I think they projected 3.6%. Rise in the economy or whatever. GDP, sorry. Right. They said we are doing about 3.7 half year ago. I think 3.7 or 3.6.
Yeah, that's from the PMI data we recently got.
The one we got from
right.
The one they got from, is it Stanbic Bank?
Stanbic, yes.
Okay.
NESG Stanbic.
Yeah. Right. So you understand. Let's hope that the second quarter we hold as it is now. Okay, even if you are not going to go down south, remain where you are, so that businesses can do what forecast, because businesses thrive on forecast. If you cannot forecast business, you are a blind man. So government, let them hold, let what we are doing hold, let the FX, if it is not even going to strengthen, if it's not going to strengthen, I want it strengthened.
Yeah.
Maybe fair value should be like 1,000 naira, but are we that productive to be able to allow to get that?
Right.
No, so I'm a realist. So if we can be able to hover between 1,000 to 1,003, then look at other indicators in the economy. This energy is not peculiar to the bread making industry.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Cuts across.
Everybody is looking at ways to see how we can reduce energy costs. You understand? And people are putting on their thinking cap. Let me tell you the truth. And very soon, if they are not careful, they may not even see people that will come and buy their energy, because we are buying it. That's the discourse.
So at some point you see a cut in demand for energy.
It will certainly get there. Thankfully, the president has signed the bill. The state governments are going to come with their own. People are going to go off grid, off national grid. People are going to be, what do they call it? Aggregate power, like I and you can aggregate the power. Okay, we produce it ourselves.
Produce our own power.
Our own power and generate it. Lagos State is doing it, and I think they do it 1 megawatt IPP at the state house in Marina or somewhere. So people are going to begin to do that, and at the end of the day, it's going to be the discourse loss, because they are stifling us. They don't want people to breathe. But nature abhors vacuum. We are going to find a way to survive it.
Right, and I think I've spoken with some of the spokespersons for most of the discourse, and they also complain of they have their own issues at this point.
Nobody keeps complaining.
Keeping them from actually maybe giving us affordable prices. For
now everybody keeps complaining. Everybody keeps complaining. It's a deja vu for everybody. But some people,
maybe there's domino effect.
Some people are holding the shorter end of the stick, especially for manufacturers. To be a producing company in Nigeria, it's not easy. You grow gray hairs, your BP will spike, Sometimes you will be talking and walking because you don't know where to pay salaries from. You understand? I'm a petroleum engineer. I'm a petroleum engineer by training. I worked in the oil and gas for 24 years before by choice I became a baker. So I will tell you, I worked in the upstream. I'm a petroleum
So you know how
engineer.
it functions.
So I know how it functions. So let them not tell us what they are telling us there. You understand me? They are making a kill. They are making a kill. The discos are making a kill. And they are not giving us the energy we need to run the wheels of our industries. You know, so that's where the government need to look. As we get into the second half of the year, they have to look at that. And then we are pleading to Mr. President and the government, please, you gave us that security of that removal of the VAT.
VAT, right.
Yeah, and import duty on wheat. I think that should continue. He should not listen to anybody. People are beginning to put pressure, apply pressure. He shouldn't. Nigerians must eat. Because if people don't eat, you exacerbate insecurity. Currently, we are facing a lot of challenges in almost all the 6 geopolitical zones. And you don't want a hungry population. You understand? If a hungry population, they are hungry. Don't make it worse. Because if you make it worse, what do? People will take to self-help. And it's not going to be good for anybody.
No, we don't need any self-help.
So that is why, as an industry, we are doing our utmost to ensure that there is bread for Nigerians at affordable prices. Like, we have 13 SKUs, okay, ranging from 2,100, all right, to 300 naira. So you must fall in somewhere there. And the breads are nutritious with the right elements of vitamins that can keep you filled for the day. That's what we stand for in my association. So you must fall in there.
Right.
If you cannot buy this, your money must reach to buy one at least. Abi?
All right, definitely. We're hoping for the best, in this second half and even the years to come. Thank you so much, Engineer Emmanuel Noah, President, Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on.
My
today.
pleasure as always. Thank you, Channels. Thank you.